Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday morning, and welcome to the Saturday edition of the Paranormal Weekend Morning Brew Show. I'm Nighthawk, and we've got Eric on here too. And we're going to be coming at you here in a couple seconds. And we're going to open up the conversation where we left off last night, actually, with Spirit World, okay? With whatever questions you in the audience have about spirit, about the Native American connection to spirit and the whole 9 yards. So, that being said, the copyright disclaimer is this channel may use some copyrighted material without specific authorization of the owner, but contends that it falls under the Fair Use Act. Nighthawk High Strange, this podcast channel and all the podcasts on channel declare fair use of any and all content to be used for the sole purpose of informing you, the viewing family, of information for educational purposes, criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, research, parody, and general knowledge only. And let's not forget the entertainment value per Title 17, Section 107 of the 1976 Copyright Act, otherwise known herein as the Fair Use Act. Okay, let me get that off of there and say good morning to some people here. Morning, Eric.
Morning, my brother.
All right, who we got in the house
Good.
tonight? We got this morning. We've got Kyle and Camo Dad. Good to see you. Candy. Good to see you. Who else we got? I don't think everybody's logged in here yet. We'll give everybody a few seconds to get in here. So, anyways, last night we got on the subject of, we really got off the rails last night, basically because of the topic that I chose. We kind of left that, went into more of the spirit world talk. Kind of like to start off with that again today. Open it up for comments and stuff, or if anybody's had any type of awakening type of situations that they've seen or experienced with the paranormal or the supernatural here lately, because last night was a very active night, very active, to the point where I I didn't actually hardly get any sleep. I mean, I slept this morning, but as far as overnight, not much. But anyways, that goes without saying where I live too. But we started talking about how things are starting to line up, where they're seeing the things in the sky that they assume are like the whatever the death dealers of the Harry Potter series, that I showed last night. We actually have Native American legends about those same exact entities. In fact, you won't find anything probably in a Hollywood movie type monster or horror genre that that we haven't warned people coming to this country about since day one. We warn you about ghosts. We warn you about certain beings that live here. We've warned you, tried to tell everybody about the unusual animals that are here, beasts, what kind of black magic was here. I mean, just all kinds of different things we try to warn everybody about. One of the biggest things I've been doing lately with a lot of my research, and this my hat goes off to Dave with the 411 missing. Dave bodies. He's quite the investigator. But one thing that they're failing to see is one thing that bothers me a lot, and that is we've been warning everybody about these certain entities that stick around graveyards and cemeteries and all that, and burial mounds, burial grounds, sacred ground, that we as indigenous people hold very high and dear to our hearts, where our ancestors' bones lay, and our culture. And for the longest time, a lot of people didn't realize that when you actually ran into a certain type of cryptid, or any cryptid whatsoever, it could be any type, um, you're basically running into a land. Um, Lizard man, even goat man, all all the entities that we discuss on a regular basis are pretty much the same entities that are called forth to protect our sacred lands, our sacred sites, our burial grounds, places where we lost battle. You're going to find out that when we deal with these entities, that they will change on you. For this fact, I called them. You see, everybody likes to label everything a skinwalker that can shift. Everything is not a skinwalker. Okay, you have shape shifting entities that live amongst us. I've said that for years now. Even the reptilian uh, race, let's put it that way, they have the ability of shifting and what they are, or hiding what they are. Most of your beings like that have that ability, whether it's through an inherited trait that they have of a self-preservation type of a mystical type of a thing, supernatural type of a thing, um, or whether it's mechanically induced. Um, they have the ability to hide, basically. Okay. So, what I was going over with the 411 missing cases, which I'm putting together a video on it right now, and it's going to be released later. Um, what I've been noticing is a lot of the missing 411s are happening at locations that might have been deemed sacred by the original inhabitants of the land. And when you call forth and you protect this, you protect the land with protection spell, or whether you walk it, in clockwise motion with sea salt or salt, and just do your property perimeter and bless the land and all that to keep all the evil off, and evil from entering. Um, Even those ceremonies heighten the paranormal aspect, the supernatural aspect of things that happen around people every day. Um, so the connection, making the connection from a cryptid to a Native American way of life is not hard to make, because we call upon them to protect certain areas. Okay, to have that kind of an alarm situation. Morning, Jim. Nice to see you. Cynthia, good to see you. Stuart, good to see you. Um, you know, there is a lot to be said about seeing Bigfoot and Dogman and stuff in cemeteries and all that. They're almost drawn to those specific areas because of what is in the ground. Okay, um, whether it's the bones of our ancestors or your ancestors, or whether it's some type of death that actually is they're drawn to. Okay, some kind of connection is there. Good morning, Juno. So that goes without saying, but I don't think that these beings, when they're brought forth through of American incantation and manifestation through ceremony, I don't think they're ultimately meant to harm people. I think they're meant to chase people out of the area, pretty much. Kind of like marking your territory. So I don't know, Eric, if you've ever experienced seeing a spirit ceremony. It's where we actually are in. There's like a little shack, and it's all covered with black cloth, and there's a buffalo skull in there. For what we do is we sing and we pray and we smudge in this little shack, and we call forth spirits, okay, to guide us and help us and to protect our sacred sites. And entities will listen to us and go specifically to the site, or they will attach themselves to certain people to have the reign to do whatever they want whenever they want. But spirit calling ceremonies are pretty educational if you've never gone through them before. A lot of mystical power in those ceremonies. People say, "Oh, well, you'll have about 6 guys outside the little with nothing holding up except the air underneath it." Here's certain activity within that shack. You know, you can't. The medicine works. You know, the ceremony works. You know. Morning, Abbott. Have you ever been through a spirit calling ceremony?
I haven't. Like I said, every time I got a chance to do anything like that, I was either deployed or something else happened. The most I've been able to do is when I was younger. You okay, bub? The most I've been able to do when I was younger was like dance. But I got to miss out on a lot of stuff. I got to get reconnected. A lot of the people I knew before I left in '99. You okay? Calm down. Calm yourself. Easy, buddies. Easy. Yeah. Easies. A lot of them is not around no more, so
What a hand.
I don't have that connection I used to have when I was younger. Yeah, I haven't been able to do dance, sweat. Not 9. I was talking. That's rude. Use your manners. You know your manners. Use them.
Well, the reason I'm asking, the reason I'm asking is the fact that basically, you know, to see where you were at with it. I know Juno's probably done them, or at least seen them done. Corey, I think Corey has seen them done. But it's basically a ceremony, like I said, where we involve a lot of singing and praying. Kind of on the lines of a sweat lodge without the sweat, but inside a building. And like I said, we cover up all light, all everything, mirror, ceiling lights. We cover the whole room in black cloth, and then the only thing we have in there with us is the buffalo skull and the sacred bundle. And when we call forth the spirits, you can literally feel the little buildings just shake, okay, and tremble because of the power that's involved in it. And the reason we hold them inside a little building is because you don't want to do the ceremonies over and over again in the same location, because otherwise you're bound that the ceremonies are held on. You don't want to hold ceremony where you hold Sundance. Sundance is the most sacred, where we prove ourselves to the Creator. So Sundance, and that's the only Sundance. In Nepi, okay, has their own ground and area, with the lodge and the fire and the rocks and all that, and the outside area to sit and the inside area, Nepi, which is usually just owls laying on the ground. Your powwows were powwows. I mean, back in the day, it was just us doing it, and we weren't doing it as a spectacle. We could have very powerful and very sacred to us because we camped upon it. Because all of our power when we did ceremonies in the encampments comes back up. So basically, we want a clean, crisp area to do things in. Okay, everything's in a different area. So when we go and we do burials or whatever, and set up the scaffolding and all that, or bury them under the rocks and all that, it's or in a mound. It's 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 going to be a different area every time. Usually, it might be where the person has passed, where we put them, because it's the last thing that they see. Um, I'm not sure what Candy means. Males only.
And see, I
Oh,
think she's
sweat
asking.
lodge. No, the males, yes. Yeah, the males, yes, we do sweat with just males. We don't sweat with females. Basically, you can't do a sweat lodge or even be on the sweat lodge grounds or any ceremony grounds when you're in your moon. Um, that's just the way it is. But they do have all female sweats too, though. So I mean, you could find that in a local community. Um, I would talk to someone that's American in your local community that could hook you up with that, maybe, or at least let you give it a try. So, anyways, dealing with the spirits around graveyards and cemeteries and burial mounds and all that, um, you're dealing with a type of activity that it's a lot of people think they're ghostly activity, and they're not. They're actually um, brought forth through protection of that sacred area, that site, okay, which makes them a little bit more than just apparitions. It makes them embedded cryptid creatures of that specific land, okay. When somebody disrespects the land, like say a hunter goes in to hunt and doesn't say a thank you to the environment that he's hunting in, to the animals and all that, and all the spirits that are there, he's going to either be chased out of there or B, have the worst hunting day of their life. Okay. Um, no game, no nothing. So I've even seen it go so far as people that didn't see any game all morning long and went to shoot at just something to shoot at it, and they all of a sudden got attacked by a swarm of yellow jackets. And I've seen it happen more than once. It does happen. Everything's connected.
Mhm. Oh yeah, I mean it's like that's something I practice a lot. You got to respect your land. You got to respect the spirits on that land. You never take more than what you need. Um, if you have plenty, help those who have less. That's very, very important. I mean, very important. Um, Good morning, the girl in her gong. Um, give offerings. I need to start doing that again. Start and get some honey and some milk and some oats and start doing offerings again. I haven't done that in a while. Um, but there's little things you can do that to you seem like a pain in the ass, but will make a huge, huge difference on what goes on. Um, and there's times that
Now,
you can do everything right and you're still going to get attacked by something bad too. Though I mean, we seen that last night here. I do a lot of
yeah,
things, and
yeah,
I'm very respectful of the woods. You still happen so.
yeah. Now, the one thing that I will say though, is you can do something very simple every day, every time you eat, if you want to do offerings. With my people, we make what we call a spirit plate, okay, and it's a small plate that we just put samplings of everything that we're eating at a certain time on that plate, and we'll take that plate and we'll set it out along the edge of the wood line or whatever, or the edge of a river, wherever we live. Put it down and ask Kashila, grandfather, to share this with all the animals and whatnot in the area and the spirits within the area. And it's called a spirit plate, for that very reason. And it's basically an offering. Every time you eat or partake of eating something, you put a little something on the plate and you set it out. That's a way to get the woodland spirits and whatnot to actually know that you don't mean them any harm. Um,
Hmm.
Same principle with when you go hunting. You always say a prayer and lay tobacco on the animal that gave us life to feed your family. So, but the spirit plate is something that everybody can actually do, and it's just a way. It's also a way to show that you're opposing gluttony, as far as you know being almost thought of as being gluttonous, because you're not eating everything on your plate. You're actually giving part of your plate to the spirits to say thank you. So
Hmm.
that's a form of not being a glutton. So that's something that you might want to practice there, on your property, Eric, if you want. Just a
Yeah.
simple thing, that can be done every day, or do it once in the morning or evening, whatever you want to do, and see what happens. See if that calls the stuff down there on the.
Yep. I have a little rock over here to the south of me that I like to use a lot. It's right inside the tree lines. And I used to do that a lot. And then, good morning, Penny. I haven't done it in a while. I need to get back to doing that. I really do. And like tobacco, like every time I cut a tree, I always plant tobacco. I give a blessing and an offering for the tree, regardless if it's green or dead. And I always give an offering of tobacco to it. Anytime I am successful at hunting, I think whatever it is I'm hunting for, sacrificing itself so that I may feed my family. And I pray that its spirit goes on to teach the younger generation its knowledge. That's just things I like to do, and it's always served me
Right.
well. And as before, I knew
Yeah.
very much on the spiritual side of it. I've always done that.
Well, I said I was going to do something for Penny when she came on, and Penny, I'm glad to see you on. Thank you for being here. Uh, you too. Um, but Penny's been going through a lot, a whole lot, and we all love her like family. Um, So I told her that I would have everybody give themselves a cyber hug today. And since she's on there, and say that it's from Penny, everybody. Okay, there you go. There you go. You know, we all go through certain things in life, and a lot of times it's
Mm,
not pleasant. And it's very very depressing, or frustration comes in and settles in and all that. So you know, we need to remember when we talk to people that people just aren't going to be able to worry about our problems alone if we're discussing that. We have everybody in the chat has something going on, and with respect to everybody, let's all just pray and just ask for everything to be healed over time. You know, because there's really there's a lot of bad things going on in the world today, and we just don't need those bad things put on upon us. So,
mm,
good morning, Dawn. Girl in her gong, good to see you. Um, it is something being not mortal, not being immortal, I should say. That we are all mortal. Um, maybe that's it. Maybe that's what we're meant to experience. All that suffering and that pain and the depressive times and the frustrating times and the times when we get pissed off at everybody in the world. Um,
yep.
maybe we're meant to go through all that to experiencing it to make us stronger when we're on the other side. So I don't know. Just a thought.
Yeah, I mean, it makes good sense, and like I'm always telling you, there's a reason why I don't like to go in public a lot is because I get to feeling that negativity, and I have to back away, because of a way I was for a while. After Cheryl's death, I became not the greatest person in the world. It seems like ever since then, and since I've had that in how do you say it? It was just pretty much ingrained that darkness just overtook me. I'm more acceptable, successful, blah, 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 blah. I'm more acceptable to it unwillingly. I'm constantly trying to practice
Right.
good vibes, good attitude, but it slips. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I'm human. It slips. So I have to try to keep myself away from that negativity because it's drawn to me like a vacuum. So it's something you guys need to think about as well when you're dealing with negativity. And this is spirits too. I think that's why I get messed with from time to time is because I've got that vacuum from something that I try to get away from.
Right.
Um,
So what happened last night after we got off? Did anything actually
but
escalate at your place?
now that last attack that happened just before I was talking about my books when it came from me from the left. After that, it all disappeared. I laughed and I said, "Yeah, you're not as powerful as you think you are. I told you you have no power here." I didn't have no issue after that. I mean, I don't know if you guys noticed it, but when I would talk my books, that's when I went like that because I got hit again from my left. And after that, I mean, things quieted down. I heard that footsteps on the roof once. That was about the time it hit me from the left. And I apologize for interrupting the show last night, but when that thing kept coming at me from over here and coming at me hard, I had to take action real quick, and it just didn't dawn on me to shut my mic off before I did that. So I do apologize for that. But when it gets that hard and that heavy,
There's no apology
you
needed.
got to take control. So yeah, it after that it kind of calmed down, which I know Corey said he had issues last night too. So I was like, okay, there's something going on here. Is it because of what we talked about, why we were getting attacked by these dark entities, or is it because something is about to happen? either one is a very good possibility why
Yeah.
it was ramping up last night.
Yeah.
I didn't
I
get to
thought
sleep
about
till
that last night.
4:30 this morning myself. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, something was going on last night. Um, I had a sense that we probably, I get so fidgety from being so tired that you want to go to sleep, but you can't go to sleep. But that's how I was last night for a while, for the longest while. And finally, after I realized what was going on, which was there was some kind of shift in activity last night. I felt
Yes.
it, and I know several other people felt it. Um, Something shifted, and it wasn't a good feeling. Let's put it to you this way.
Mm-mm.
Um, so it has something to do with whatever's going on in the world right now, and it wasn't shifted in a good way. So I expect some tragedy announcement within the next 24 hours or so, that something happened, and
Yeah.
either somebody got killed or somebody got unalived or whatever, or several people got hurt, but I expect something to happen, like either a landslide or an earthquake or a volcanic eruption, something along that lines, to show that something environmentally is going on too. It's not just spiritually or supernatural in nature. It can, supernatural and spirit can actually involve nature, into whatever's going on. That's why we all term Mother Earth as being a living, breathing entity, because technically she is, because she has all this life upon
Mhm.
her. So,
We
but
come from her.
yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. So,
And that's the
yeah,
thing,
Stuart,
I
they are
got the
cranking
thing.
CERN up again.
Go ahead, sorry, bro.
No, no, I just wanted to answer the Stuart on that one.
Mm. Well, and the thing is I got the same feeling that something is about to happen. Something, I don't know if dimensions are getting ready to cross again. That could be from CERN. That is very possible. Or if a flood of negativity is fixing to come about. We know behind the lines what the not so good people are doing. Um, and the fact that this secret war is almost over and the good is winning, could this be like one ditch thing where a lot of this negative energy is getting pushed out? I don't know, man. Something's definitely getting ready to happen, though.
Yeah, and I like Abbott's comment here about the weather and catastrophic warfare with
Mhm.
technology frequencies. Yeah, I mean, we
Oh yeah,
talk about HARP all the time, and the control that CERN has on the world around us, and in fact the whole universe around us. CERN has manipulated it so much, and taking risk with our own lives. I mean, did our conscience shift last night because of CERN? It very well could have. Our
could
conscience
be.
could have slipped last night, shifted into a parallel universe, into our bodies in in that universe. Our spirit would go, and we would see things from the universe that we used to live in. The next to that we shifted from. We would have that ability to see that universe and all things with it.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think CERN has a big role in what's going on with a lot of abnormal things that are happening with the spirit being up. Um, the veil has been ripped apart, literally, thanks to CERN. Um,
Yeah.
there's so many things you can you can think about with CERN. They are, without a doubt, the biggest reason that we have things going on like we have nowadays. Specifically, primarily because they have been trying to make Geneva a place for Lucifer to live. It says it in the Bible, you know, it's a place where Lucifer will live, plain and simple. Let me see here. Let me see if I can find that one. Yeah, here we go. There we go. Yeah, this. I mean, these things are really getting out of hand. The chip technology going in people's hands. They say it could be the mark of the beast, and I can tell you for a fact with cloning, as in the bottom left corner of that picture states. Let me get that comment out of there. Come on. Okay, in the bottom corner under the you should. But we should be concerned, and that's what we need to know. We need to know these things are going on, and it's more than just one location that's doing it. Do you know there's like something like 47 or 48 of these hadron colliders around the world? Just think about them all going off at the same time. That would literally probably rip our world apart. Literally.
If it hasn't already.
So, yeah, exactly. If it hasn't already. And that could also be a cause for the missing people, you know?
Yeah. That's possible. It's there's a lot of weird shit going on right now, man. They got metals in our foods, they got metals in our drinks, both Gates and Noah Havari have all talked about putting nanobots in us that alters the human DNA, where Homo sapien is no longer a thing. We already know that the stick that some people got, it sterilizes them. So I mean, there's going to be a generation with no childbirth. Is that going to be the end of humanity? The ones that didn't get the stick are the only ones that's going to be able to have children. And then all the medical stuff is going there. And Gates and Noah Havari have both said we have been able to, we can now hack the human brain. It's where are they getting this stuff from? I think it's the evil that's out there. The evil demonic side of it. There's one thing. We always talk about demons. Something being a demon. In most cultures, there's two types of demons. There's good demons and bad demons. And you or European is about the only one that doesn't have two different types of demons. A demon is a way for several countries to talk about a supernatural entity. Really prevalent within the Asian cultures. Not all demons are evil. Some are helpful, some are not. I don't know enough about that to have a steady comment. I just know if you actually study history, that seems to be the trend, except for the European culture. Native Americans, you have good spirits, you got bad spirits. When I pray to the east and I pray to the south and the west and the north, I'm asking my ancestors and the good spirits of those directions for guidance and protection. It's very, very important to do that. Even when I'm blessing my home or my property to keep it safe, which I haven't done in a while. And as a result, you see what happens last night. You always pray to the good. There's good and bad in every aspect that we're looking into: spiritual, supernatural, cryptid. In humanity itself, there's good and bad. There's always going to be yin and yang. You can't have one
Right.
without the other. I mean, it's that cold hard truth. You can't have one without the other. You always got to have good and evil, yin and yang, white wolf, black wolf. It's within us and it's all around us.
Mm.
And something that kind of popped in my head. Those of you who's getting more in touch to the spiritual side and supernatural side, just kind of a fair warning. What happened last night is something that's going to happen to you when you're in that in touched with the paranormal and the supernatural side of things. You're going to be visited by more than just good things. It's not going to be, just oh, I get to see my ancestor. No, it's you're going to be approached by both good and evil. So you need to be, prepared for that. You know, that's right,
Yeah,
Glade. Yeah,
exactly. Um,
go ahead. Sorry.
uh, I'm just reading some of the comments here. Um,
That's why I'm trying to get caught up.
yeah, it gets going by
you
so
know,
fast that I can't even really get a chance to read them. So I have to slow it down to read them. Um,
yeah,
yeah,
but no, I mean,
the loud
go ahead.
sounds and stuff that everybody's hearing is something too that we should probably discuss. I don't know if everybody actually hears the sound where it's basically like a loud thud, but it's a thud that it shakes your whole house. Okay. Um, we've had that happen here several times, and the research that I did on the loud thuds and stuff that are shaking people's homes that are heard literally everywhere and anywhere you can hear. But it feels like it comes from underneath their feet because the ground shakes. Um, I'd almost be willing to bet that is our government drilling underneath our feet some more
Hmm.
train tunnels and stuff for their light rail to go system to go through from underground bunker to underground bunker. There's a certain thing that the miners do when you're mining for precious metal, and the Army Corps of Engineers has used it too. And it's a process that they mix bleach with some kind of acid, and it actually eats the dirt, the soil, okay, and gets rid of the soil, and you're only left with rocks, okay. Um, they do that underneath us, to get rid of all the debris that they can before having to take it up to the surface. That way, we can't prove that they're actually removing large amounts of sedimentary underneath our feet by making tunnels or bunkers or whatever. Um, we know whatever's happening, whatever everybody's gearing up for is going to happen, and it's going to happen in one full swoop. It's not going to happen a little bit at a time because right now we are probably closer to the midnight hour than we are from not having it. And what I mean by midnight hour is I mean the doomsday clock. Okay, a clock that the government uses to depict on the possible use of nuclear devices. Um, I would forewarn every government in the world to hear my voice. Don't use nuclear weapons, because the only thing you're going to do is you're going to piss off all the millions and billions of people that have to suffer for the stupidity of a few. Okay, and we don't need that. Okay, if you want to stir up the anthill, then kick it a couple times with your boot, like you've been doing with these stupid wars, and you see what happens. Okay, because there's going to be coming a time when these billions and billions of people are so pissed off at their governments that their governments aren't going to have a leg to stand on if they revolt. So that's just advice, you know. Starflower, good to see you. You know, we talked about it a little bit last night, and you know, it just, you know, it's really striking on all chords with me. The fact that our government does hide so much from us.
Yeah.
It's disgusting, actually. It really is. So, and let's just, you know, this Memorial Day, let's make it our day, to thank those that have lost their lives to protect us and to serve our country. Because there ain't nobody else going to do it, folks. You know,
Nope.
being a patriot is a dying breed, I guess. So that's why I want to do
Remember on
a survival. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool. I know DA was talking about that, doing that too, and I think it's be a good idea. You know, I was kind of messing with something here before the show started because I'm trying to get it reset back up. You know, my LBV.
Uh-huh.
You know, I've got my bug out kits and stuff like that, and I've got several different things in it. I think it's important, and for some reason now more than ever seems like something that we need to discuss. I don't know why. It's just the feeling. The feeling is we need to discuss this. And if anybody watches me enough, they know I kind of base things off of feelings, like what shows I do, what we talk about. It's all about feelings. When I get a feeling that something needs to be discussed, that's what I'm going to talk about. And I've got this
Right.
feeling now
I
is
just,
get ready.
yeah, yeah. It's definitely get ready. It's
Mhm.
pretty close to being set game match. But I don't know if it's the last seal that I'm feeling.
Mhm.
In the biblical aspect of things, because all the first six seals have been broken. They've been
Mhm.
broken. Um, we're just waiting on the last one, and I think that last one is going to come very soon, especially after the premonition I had the other day. So, I mean, I can
Yeah.
feel it.
It's
It's an overpowering and oppressive feeling, and it's literally pushing me down to the ground. You know, so
mhm.
everybody just get as prepared as you can be. You know.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. I mean
Poncho, we
that's
know
that's
that
that's
it's going to get worse before it
yeah.
gets better.
It's there's always a calm before the storm, and then there's the storm, and after it is the cleansing. You know, the storm cleanses. The storm is violent. The storm is very, very violent, folks. But after it's done is the cleansing. And then it's just a few things that you got
Yeah,
to pick up here and there that's left over. So, I mean, that's something you got to keep in mind. There's always a cleansing with the storm, no matter how bad the storm is.
yep, yep.
So, I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I mean, I've got, I did, I could probably, we can probably do a good survival kit thing, kind of some important things to have in it. I've got mine's in the closet here in the office, and I've got some of my stuff in there that's kind of important. There's several tricks of the trade people can do. You know, there's things
I've
you
got
can do that
I've got
you ain't got money.
one. I've got one, two, three, four, five, six. I've got six survival military bags packed already, um,
Hmm.
ready to go. So yeah, I've got yeah. Uh, I think if we stayed here, we'd be fine. So
Hmm.
but you know, we just don't know where the world's going, what's going to happen from one moment to the next. So I would say just try to be as prepared as possible. Stock up on water and stock up. They say just buy basics. You don't have to like buy a lot of canned goods and stuff, but
No.
buy the ones that you can eat and can use. Now, what I suggest to people too when they're stocking up on things is I'll say stuff like buy as much water and as much um, pancake batter, that needs water to mix it with, um, as you can store. Take as much as you can store because hey, if it comes down to it, and it's food's a necessity, at least you can have pancakes all the freaking day long, all you want.
Mhm.
So and pancake mix is usually the cheapest thing to buy. I say buy that, buy gravy mixes, so you can make a little bit of gravy with the water, just that kind of stuff. And then go from there, build on it from there with, I don't know, soup mixes and stuff.
Mhm.
Just all kinds of different things. So,
And there's the thing too, folks. You need to the word behind the scenes is you need at least 2 weeks of food and water and gas. Um, I kind of lean more towards the caution. You probably need about a month's worth. Just it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. But the going
right.
word behind the
Hey,
scenes
Roger.
is 2 weeks of it. Which I mean, after
Yeah,
this is
candy. It
over,
does candy.
go ahead.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to stock up candy. I didn't want to interrupt you, Ed, but or Eric, but
Mm.
we some things to buy too is like powdered milk. Nobody thinks about
Yeah.
powdered milk. It's gross. It tastes bad. Well, when you don't have any dairy coming in, um, powdered milk's the next best thing because at least you can mix it with
Yeah.
water and it turns into milk. And it
Yeah.
tastes like milk if you do it right. So, but yeah, that's and they've got powdered milk and uh, they've got powdered milk at Walmart. You know, in small packages. This is a 3.2 ounce packet of powdered milk. Okay, and they got them all the way up to the big bags, and that's one thing you can stock up with bottled water. I mean, that way at least you have milk, and you'll have soup to make soups with. You'll have pancake batters. You can do the pancakes. Just think of stuff that you can make really easy with one basic item. Okay. And that main item, that main ingredient should always be H2O. It should always be water. Okay. Because we're 70 to 80% water makeup, anyways. Okay. And the rest is energy. But yeah, what you want to do is just stock up on the things like that. And then you can get into like the dried beans, the rice, and all that, and
Mhm.
go that route. But if you don't have very much money, go to Dollar Tree, and pick up dried milk and soup mixes and gravy mixes and stuff, and you'll be amazed at how soon you've got like a month's worth of food staring at you in the face. So
Oh yeah. I've been spending the last 10 years kind of setting back stuff for long shelf lives like mylar and certain things, getting certain things,
mhm.
and that I'll be okay. Plus, where I live at, I bow hunt, I rifle hunt. I mean, I can go out my back door and I can have fresh meat whenever I want it. I'm blessed in that aspect of it. I'm just as deadly with a knife as I am with a bow and a rifle. So I ain't gonna be hurting on that aspect. So I spent the last 10 years kind of here and there buying a little bit, sealing it back, storing it back out of the way, um, trying to keep things getting set up for a rainy day. And it's you guys are going to think this is disgusting, but it's so true. You can actually live off of canned cat food and canned dog food. Don't taste the greatest, and you can live off of it. And when you get hungry, anything's tasty.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, candy.
Yeah.
Another thing you can do. This is a
Freeze
little bit
dried
off.
eggs is a good way to go.
Yeah, instant taters. There's other things you can do candy too. I've got a little bit set aside, and it's MREs. I hate MREs. I've ate too much of them crap, but I will admit, in situations like this, they are freaking handy. Just remember, if you have MREs, folks, keep some hot sauce with you or some laxative gum. Otherwise, you will regret it. And trust me, I know. From a
Yeah.
very bad experience, I know what happens if you don't use that. Good morning, Woo. There, yeah, guys, ever wonder where the saying "shit and bricks" came from? Just say MREs is tied to that. So,
Yeah. Camo Dad's got the right
I've
idea. Rice, gravy, and burger meat. Yep.
yep. Oh yeah. You keep flour back. I got stuff that I can make my own flour. With flour you can make so much stuff. You can make noodles, you can make um pancakes, you can make biscuits, you can make bread. And I've got stuff set aside that I can grind into flour, and I've got different, but I've been doing this for a few years, buying a little bit here and a little bit there. I've ate cat food when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
candy, I ain't gonna lie, I've done it. Spaghetti noodles, yeah, woo. Spaghetti noodles is cheap as hell, and with spaghetti noodles, you can get 2 or 3 decent meals out of just spaghetti noodles. Yeah, uh,
Yep.
I've got 300 gallon water to back up 60 gallon gas. Yeah, yeah, and I've got. You may hate to say you may not be able to buy them filtration systems to filter out the water, and this is going to be really really nasty, but it's a cheap way to have drinkable water. Iodine tablets. If you can't afford
Oh
any kind
God.
of water for purification deal, I hate to say it, but iodine tablets can do it, and you can literally filter your own pee 5 times before it comes lethal. It doesn't taste the greatest, but you can filter it 5 times before it becomes lethal. And there's ways.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Just get yourself a Sawyer Mini water filter. That's all you need.
Yep,
That
or
and
iodine
keep
tablets.
some matches and kindling around so you can boil the water before you put it through the Sawyer.
Mm,
Um, that way you doubly to get rid of twice the amount of crap out of it. Um,
yeah.
yeah, get a Sawyer Mini water filter. Those things are great. They really are.
Another thing you can get, it is real nice to keep on hand, is keep some sand on hand, or in charcoal. If you can keep, good morning, Tracy. If you can gather and keep charcoal, charcoal is used for a lot of things. It is really, really handy. It's good to have it in your system to help clean you out. It filters stuff, and you got a source for heat. So, if you got the ability to save some charcoal back, it is something that would be very handy for you guys.
Actually, charcoal is probably sand is the best material to
Hmm.
find for filtration of water, as far as a solid
Hmm.
goes, because it'll break down and it'll stop all the debris from going through the filtration of the sand. Um,
Hmm.
that's why if you're by a creek or something and there's a lot of sand around, go about 4 feet away from the creek and just dig a hole, and all that water that's filtered through the sand will fill up in that hole, and right there is your first
Hmm.
fresh water to get. Um, that's they teach you that in the Green Berets to do that, and you
Hmm.
know that's something a lot of people don't seem to realize is, you know, you dig 4 feet down or whatever, 3 feet down, into the ground, four
Hmm.
feet from the edge of a river, and you'll have pretty decent water to either heat up on a fire, to boil it, to clean it, or to process it through a Sawyer Mini or a life straw, something along that lines. Charcoal is good at removing odor. Okay, charcoal is not good at removing chemicals from water or bacteria from water. It's not good for that. Charcoal is primarily to remove the smell, okay, of something, the smell of water, the rotten egg smell, or the metallic taste, It's that kind of a thing. It's just a flavor enhancer filter is all coal is, charcoal. So I wouldn't recommend just using that.
Now you need a 3-tier system. Like first tier, you have moss, then that leaches down into your charcoal, and that leaches down into your sand, which that then no, I'm sorry, sand, charcoal, moss. And then at the end, when it's all done, it's all cleaned and purified and everything else, which the bottom part drips into whatever container you got the water. But you need a 3-tier filtration system, and the natural elements is moss, sand, charcoal, moss. To get water from the plant stock, you can do that, or I mean, some plants like big enough will collect water candy. Vines is a good source of water. Just don't get the poison ivy type. You're going to drink from a vine, just don't get the poison ivy type. You will not be happy. But vines have a lot of water in them. Cacti is phenomenal, between a water source and a food source. Your cacti is phenomenal for that. It's like a weird tasting watermelon. Limestone is Roger. Yeah. Limestone is it's a phenomenal. We got a lot of limestone here. Like I have a well, but I'm on the artesian. So I'm in the lower aquifer, which is harder to get to, but it's the cleanest and best water you can get. It's also the hardest to refill. You got an upper aquifer and you got a lower aquifer. When you're going artesian, you're going down into the lower, and that's where I'm at. That is the best. Serious question: how real do you all think the possibility it is that people need to prepare for a global change of life, and how soon? I personally, it's going to happen. We're going to be going into a new age. Some will be left behind. Some will not, and the signs are all pointing to it's going to happen at any moment.
Yep.
I'll bet you
two will be at the water's edge. One will be taken. Two will be in the field. One will be taken. So yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
The end alls. Now whether it's going to be a legit way of it happening, I don't know if it is. It could be something that's basically like a false flag event. It very well could be our government and our military industrial complex doing it to us to make us think that it's the end, when actuality it isn't. So, because remember, there's wars and rumors of wars, and that's what's going on.
Yep.
So,
couple comments here. Rocks is not really good for a filtration system. Roxanne, just because it leaves too much of a gap and allows too much stuff to go through. That's why you want sand, charcoal, and moss. People don't realize moss is an amazing plant. Not only does it filter, but you put moss on a wound and it helps to clean and purify the wound. Moss is a phenomenal plant to have around. cut bamboo. Yeah, I came with Dad. Bamboo is good for, it can be a water container, and it's also strong material to build from. If you have to leave your home, where would places? I'll be honest with you, Roxanne. I'd look for a cave. I got enough of them around here. That's kind of where I would go. What about your area, um, William?
Oh, I'm trying to figure out what Woo Rider's saying here.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what me too.
let's see. Oh, wouldn't pause.
Oh, wouldn't positive step in? Oh, positive alien step in. That is one of the things. Yeah,
Yeah, that's one of them. But I'm I don't know. I'm just I'm kind of hesitant to just say that we can expect an alien race to step in and stop all this madness. Um, it can happen. Yes, I mean anything can happen. But I'm just
oh
not at
yeah,
that point where I don't think it's going to happen. Um, I think more on the lines of mankind looking out for mankind is probably going to be the sole survivor of us with what's to come.
yeah.
Um,
Uh,
but with respect to everybody and the water filtration thing, um, I worked as a class two water plant operator, and I started out in the wastewater industry for municipalities, and you can use the stones, the gravel type of a thing, but you have to remember um, it's only going to filter out the big sedimentation stuff, and let the rest go through it because of the gaps in the stones. Um, but if you have only stones to use, the process you want to do is lay stones down and then cloth, preferably cotton, and then
mm-hmm,
stones again, and then cloth again. Okay,
mm-hmm,
and use that cloth as an added filter, that cotton, and then just boil it before you drink it. That's all you got to do. Um, but with everything that happened in the beginning of 2023, with all the train derailments and stuff, like what happened in Ohio, in Palestine, Ohio, and all the chemicals going into the water, um, I'm more apt to use um, almost a reverse osmosis type of a thing. I will get basically an above 400 looms, um, basically a blue light, a black light, to where you can take it and tape it to a 2 liter bottle cap, cut the cap open, and put the flashlight through it so the beam can shine down in the water. Fill up that water with I don't know, tap water or whatever you want, and just turn that flashlight on and leave it on for about 5 minutes on top of that jug of water. And that UV light will actually kill a lot of the stuff that's in the water, and then you can boil it. I mean, there's several different ways you can do things. I guess that's why I'm not really worried about water, because I know how to
mm-hmm.
filter it and what to do. Um, Yes, yeah, Penny, you're right. The bacteria is the danger. Yeah, you don't
Yep.
want to drink cryptosporidium. Trust me. Um,
Well, and then
but yeah,
there's another thing you can do that everybody's got around their place, and is if you take some glass. I can't remember if it's a 30. I have to look it up. It's either a 30-degree or a 45-degree angle above a tray, so it's got to actually cover the tray. And you pour your water in that tray, and the sunlight evaporates that water and takes out all the impurities. It causes it to come up and land on that glass, and then it runs down, and then you have a little deal that goes into your deal. And that's one way to use the sun to purify your water. But I can't remember if it's a 30 degree or 45 degree, but I think it might be 30. I can't remember off the top of my head. That's one thing you can do, and everybody's got glass around their place. Glass and sunlight is a great way to purify water.
Well, it's a great way to actually get distilled water too. You can build yourself a box and line it with black plastic, and have the top, like you said, and you'll see the beads of water build up on the top glass, and just have a place for it to drain into. And sooner or later, you'll have a gallon or so of distilled water, at least that way too, where you don't have to worry about doing really too much to it, except maybe charcoal, for taste. But other than that, yeah, you're good to go. Another thing too, to basically have. Okay, we talked about a lot of the gravies and the pancake mixes and the soup mixes and all that, and the bottled water and the waters and the dried milk. I know somebody put in the chat condensed milk or whatever. Yes, that can work, but in a can, it's only going to last so long. This type of stuff. Well, let's put it to you this way: this thing's good all the way till 2028.
Careful,
okay.
Bud.
Yeah, and then you can go well after a year or two past that date on this, and it still be good for milk. So that's why I like that. So you can get a good 10 years almost out of a bag of powdered milk, as far as storing capacity, whereas with condensed canned milk, you can't. So that's the only thing about the canned milk, the condensed milk. Some other things, like how to stay warm. This is an old native trick, but do you know why we had teepees? We lived in teepees. We lived in teepees so we could have the center of the teepee on the ground made with rocks around it, and we could throw the heated rocks from a fire in that little pit in the center of it, like a sweat lodge, and that would keep everybody in the teepee that was sleeping nice and warm and toasty all night long. So, and if you got cold, just go out to the fire and get a couple more rocks and put it in the thing, and it'll heat it right up. So yeah, that's an old native trick there, well, you don't have to depend on flames and all that. So,
people have slept on heated rocks for years. You just have a little hole in the ground, you put your heated rocks in there, and then you cover it up, and it's all kind of like it contains the heat for a long period of time, and that ground warms up and you're sleeping on it. One thing to remember too, if you want to stay warm at night, is you want a minimum of 2 inches of insulation between you and the ground, because otherwise you'll lose a lot of body heat while you sleep at night. Candy's got an idea, first aid kits. I've got a basic military style first aid kit, but I also carry Dark Angel Medical. I have 2 different Dark Angel Medical kits that I have. One stays in my truck on my headrest, and the other one's on my pack when I go out in the field. Depending on your level of knowledge of first aid, really depends on which one you need. My level is combat field medicine. I'm no medic. I'm no doc. We learn basic first aid in the combat zone to keep somebody alive long enough for doc to come get to them. So like my Dark Angel medical kit is set up for that. It's a military style Dark Angel medical kit, trauma kit. Dark Angels, Carrie, dude, that guy is a freaking rock star when it comes to first aid kits. And I believe he's got basic first aid kits on his deal too, if memory serves me correctly. Good morning, Judy. But yes, first aid kits and trauma kits is to me an extremely important thing when it comes to survival.
Yep, I make up my own kits.
Mm-hmm.
I make up my own kits. I've got everything from latex gloves in there to
Yep.
sutures to medical tapes to tourniquets, even antibacterial wipes, all kinds of gauze and gauze bandages. I mean, just literally everything.
Mm,
And that
yeah.
kit will do for. It won't do for a massive gaping wound, but it will do for some pretty serious wounds. It'll help. So um,
And
I would recommend
something.
that
Go ahead.
you go ahead. No, go ahead. Go
Oh
ahead.
no, go ahead. Finish your deal. I'm sorry. I had a glitch there, so I thought you was done. I apologize.
Um, I would definitely talk to somebody about putting together a medical kit. You can go to the Dollar Tree
Mm,
and you can buy a bunch of stuff for like a buck or two, and just put it all in one spot in one little bag and call that your
mm,
medical kit. Just as long as you've got like mercurochrome, iodine, bandages, gauze tape, stuff like that. The big square 3x3 patches of gauze for open wounds. Um, you know, I even put, and this is just me, but I even put a little black pepper in with my type of a medical bag, and I'll tell you why. Um, when in doubt, if you cut like a finger real bad or the palm of your hand real bad, and it's bleeding, um, believe it or not, you can take black pepper and pour it over the wound and take a gauze and hold it down over the wound. And the black pepper will actually help with clotting to stop the bleeding. Okay. It's an old trick that I learned when working with dogs. And if you trim a dog's nails too far back and they bleed, what you do is you take some black pepper out of your kitchen and you put the dog's toenail in it and it stops the bleeding. Okay.
mm,
Almost instantly, but you have to hold it there for like 30 seconds. Okay. And just hold it there and it'll stop the bleeding. So plain and
yeah.
simple. So that's why I carry black pepper with me. It's a
Yes.
coagulant.
Some other things to think about when it comes to
Sewing
like
kits are
tourniquets,
also
a
good.
shoestring. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
when that comes to tourniquets, you get shoestrings can be a tourniquet, a belt can be a tourniquet, a shirt can be a tourniquet. So many things can be a tourniquet. When it comes to like stings or cuts or even tooth infections, tobacco and a little whiskey goes a long freaking way. If you don't have the whiskey, just a straight up tobacco will work too. I've done that for years.
Oh, that's the other
When
thing.
it, yeah, go ahead.
In fact, those little bottles of whiskey, those little tiny bottles of whiskey is a good thing to have um,
Hmm.
anyways in a medical bag, especially if it's like 90 proof. Um, Anything above 70 proof is good to have for,
Hmm.
a basically a stringent to where it's going to clean out a wound. But another good thing to have those small little bottles and whiskey bottles around for too is to barter. Say you didn't have a surgical kit to where you could sew a wound together, okay, and you knew somebody did, you could take two of those little bottles and say, hey, I really need to sew this wound closed. Can I trade you two bottles or whatever for the sewing kit? It's going to be a form of payment. Stuff like that.
Hmm.
Coffee, instant coffee, especially, that's going to be a form of payment. I guarantee it, because a lot of people like their coffee. You know, and
Hmm.
when it comes down to hard times, you're going to want instant. If you can't get it at all, you're going to want instant. And freeze
Yeah.
dried coffee lasts a lot longer than regular coffee. So, but I would recommend those two things, in your bag, so you have it to
Hmm.
share, and to hand out if you need to get more stuff for a medical situation. Um, Another good thing to have Let me think here.
Super
As I
glue.
look around my room, yeah, super glue is a good one. That's
People
good
don't
for
realize
closing small cuts.
super glue was invented in World War II as a wound sealant. That is what super glue was invented as. That's what your liquid Band-Aid is. It's super glue. It burns like hell, but I've done it several times. I've used needle and thread to sew up my cuts several times. Super glue by far though is the best.
This is a something I got
Yes,
off of Amazon for like $10. For like $10, I got this. Okay, and it's basically you unfold the handle. Okay, take the top off. Okay, there's the top. Inside this, you have 2 cups. Okay, 2 drinking cups. Okay, just like that. Okay, and then you have a pot to boil your water in to drink. That's all that is. That's all that is. Stainless steel. You just put your water in it, and you can boil that over an open fire. And when you get done, you can utilize the cups to drink it with. And you just put it all back together, and boom, it's all stored in one little thing. And this is made by Stanley. It costs like $10. So, yeah, same exact concept. Yep.
My stuff is kind of old. I've had mine for a while, but I mean these little canteen cups here, holders. This is, you can boil water in this, make stew out with this. You can do a lot with this one of these right here.
Yep, exactly. So I would say that the most important thing to survival is to stay dry and clean. Okay. And drink as much water as you can without wasting it. And food, when you start with those basic needs, you're going to find things along the way, like a tarp or something. You could make a structure out of this to get you out of the elements. You can pick up a cheap tarp at Dollar Tree, for that matter, for like a couple bucks. All kinds of different things. So
another very important thing is a compass. These things are worth their weight in gold, especially when you're trying to navigate to where you were. I missed what you were talking about, Penny. Yeah, and a lot of things. Something else people don't realize. Something that works really great for bullet wounds is tampons. Tampons are phenomenal. You was talking about them pee pads, Penny, but honestly, tampons are really, really great for bullet wounds and stab wounds.
all right, I'm going to show you what a Sawyer Mini is. Okay, your Sawyer Mini, and you can get this. You can get this on Amazon. Okay, is going to come with several different things. You got your bladder bag that you can put your filtered water in. This just screws right on the top of it. Okay, and this hose goes on the other end into the water, because it shows you your direction of flow on it. Okay. And then if this ever gets to the point where it's plugged up, all you got to do is take the syringe and literally do what we did in water plants, and that's backflow the filter system to blow all the sedimentation and crap out of the filter. It cleans it and everything. So this little kit right now sells on Amazon, and this will treat over 100,000 gallons before it needs changed. Okay, that's 100,000 gallons of drinking water. I don't think you drink that much in your lifetime, but one of these for $20 at Amazon is worth its weight in gold. It's called a Sawyer Mini. Okay, and I've got a portable kit right here that I use for basically water treatment. That's all this kit is all drinking water treatment.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff out there. A lot of stuff fairly cheap.
Just carry it in a little bag.
Yeah, stuff like that is always a top if you can get it. But I'm always a firm believer if you don't have it, there's other ways of doing it too. It's not so great, but you kind of need to know both. Yeah, Candy, you're right. Yeah, Poncho. Yeah, I know Doc says don't too, but when push comes to shove, you ain't got anything else. Tampons work. And they work pretty good for nosebleeds too. But yeah, no, it's there's a lot of stuff. I'm getting a kick out of these comments. Yeah, Penny, Doc says no to tampons. Honestly, if you ain't got nothing else as a last resort, they are phenomenal for that. They do work. We used to carry them in the Marines in our little small pack on our back. If we didn't have a ghillie suit in there, we always had one that had the ghillie suit, and we always had another one set up depending on what mission you went in. Had stuff like that in it. It works.
I agree.
There's different kinds.
No, I agree with Poncho. I'm sorry, I got to. I would. I'm the type of guy that I would probably bleed to death before I stick a tampon in the wound.
It sucks, man, but it works. I mean, it sucks, but it works because you got to stick it in there, so it's painful as hell, but it will control bleed. Get max absorption. What? I'm trying to remember what it is. I don't buy these things. I think was extra absorption or max absorption or something like something that absorbs a lot.
Oh man. Oh wow. Okay, I needed that laugh. This is getting too serious.
Oh, sorry, Roxanne. A good compass. I get the military. Supermax. Thank you, Candy. Okay. Thank you, Candy. Right. Supermax. That's what I was thinking of. Roxanne, I use a military style lensatic compass. I like that better. I used it in Boy Scouts. I used it in the military. I'm real familiar for it. They're extremely accurate. They have a place where you can point to your destination to get your coordinates right. I mean, I think mine cost $25 on Amazon. I got a military style lensatic compass. That's what I want. That's what I prefer. Like I said, I'm just used to those, and they're the most accurate.
Listen to Uncle Bill, okay? Listen to Uncle Bill. Billy will not steer you wrong, okay? What you want to do is if it's a sunny day and you're out lost in the woods in the middle of nowhere, find yourself a little opening where the sunlight hits, okay? Really good and brightens it up the whole area. Take yourself about a 2-foot long stick, okay? Yep. And you're going to put that stick in the ground, okay? And you're going to take another stick and follow the shadow of the line, okay, on the ground from the first stick, and you're going to put that stick in the ground, okay? Then what you want to do is go do something for about 15 minutes and come back and see which direction that shadow line moved in, whether it was left or right on that. If it's going to the right, then that means west is going to be over that way. You see what I'm saying? So, you can literally do that with the nighttime sky too. Um, if you know your star systems, you can navigate at night. So yeah, that's one thing that they taught us.
Mhm. Well, I mean, the two things that's always going to be constant: the moon rises in the east and sets in the west. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west.
Go ahead.
Moss will
Yep,
grow more on the north side of a tree.
yep, yep.
Kind of tidbits. I like compasses, but I mean, if you don't have compasses, you're absolutely right. The stick works with the shadow. Your terrain, water 9 times out of 10 is going to flow south. So always remember that. You know, um, the moss, like I said, on the tree, it's going to grow heavier on the north side than it is on the rest. That's what's one way to look at it. Your North Star. Um, let's try and think of some other things off the top of
Oh, oh God.
my head. We're having some fun with this tampon stuff, man. We got some good
Penny,
stuff going on in
Penny
here.
says Penny says
PMS.
PMS, pass me some.
For me, PMS is parked motorcycle syndrome. If anybody tells you a guy doesn't have PMS, you're full of crap, because I have it every time I'm not riding my bike. PMS, parked motorcycle syndrome.
Yeah. Well, anyways, we're gonna cut this short because we're getting into dangerous territory here. So, um, we'll actually we'll plan a show sometime for this type of a
Yeah.
subject matter, and we'll go through everything with everybody, um, on what to have, what good things to have. But at least we gave you a couple things today to think about. Okay, so if you can, yeah, we didn't get into the paranormal subjects I would have liked to have, but you know what? Survival is just as good of a subject as any, to tell you the truth, in this point in time in our lives. So, um, with that being said, I want to thank everybody for being here in the chat. I'm gonna get off here because I'm starting to lose my wind, and I got a lot of organizing to do today too. So, plus I gotta watch Jacob here for a minute or two. So, and the wild dog man that I've got for a son, a four-legged son, he's crazy. So I gotta watch him. And anyways, Eric, if you want to let them know what you're going to be doing coming up and where your books are and all that. And there's not going to be a show tomorrow. Okay. Just so everybody knows, there's not going to be a show tomorrow. I'll be doing a replay, okay, of a past show for y'all. Because I like to do a Memorial Day, where I just, kind of vegetate and think about all the fallen. So.
Well, I was trying to answer who. Yes, I have. Woo, I do have Instagram and stuff like that, and I've got Rumble. I posted that on there, but for some reason it's not popping up. My Instagram, I remember that off the top of my head. It's Testerman Eric all together, and that's my Instagram. I'm rarely on that thing. I'm transferring a lot of my shows over to Rumble, and there'll be certain kind of lives that I'll do on Rumble only because I can't do on YouTube because I'll get in trouble. So I'm starting to build that up. I'm almost done transferring lives over to Rumble. I'm actually doing that while we talk. And then I'll be doing my other videos too. So I'll have two different platforms that stuff will be on. I can't figure out how to get everything to do there. Yeah, Candy. So my books, I've got 5 books out there. I've got 3 historical cryptid horrors: Saga Grimson Book 1, The Beginning, Saga Grimson Book 2, Black Death, and the prequel, which is Varrigan Guard Book 1, House of Battle. Those are my historical fiction cryptid horrors that I write. I have an historical fiction called The Dolphs, which is my Mountain Man series. It's The Dolphs Land Beyond. And I have a sci-fi out there called The Varigan In Heart Jar, Book One, Emergence. You can find them on Amazon under E.D. Testerman. 3 out of the 5 is available on audio. I'm hoping to have the 4th one back soon. Yeah, that's why I'm kind of transferring things over to Rumble Freaky. I'll never get off of YouTube unless I'm absolutely have no other choice. But I'm starting to put some things over there, and I'll be doing certain lives over there that I can't do on YouTube. Now, for Saturdays, I usually do at 5 o'clock Central Standard Time. I usually do a show that you, the followers, created, which is called Campfire Chats with Eric and Guest, and it's a safe place for you to come and share your encounters. I'll bring you on live if you want to come on live, or we'll talk about it in chat. Whatever. That's a non-formal setback, like we're sitting around a campfire shooting a bee. That's Saturdays. Sundays at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time is my formal show of the bizarre and the unknown, and that's where I have a topic. Now, I'm not doing anything this weekend because this is Memorial Day. And this is a very special holiday for me. I did do a live yesterday at a last minute, kind of talking about Memorial Day and the meaning behind it and why you should really rethink what you're doing on this holiday. It's not a holiday just go out and get drunk, ride around on boats or whatever and grill. There's a very sacred meaning behind Memorial Day, and it's very important. We need to remember our fallen, honored fallen. Yeah, I do too. The girl on a gong. That's why I'm putting it out there. Hey,
Yeah,
Corey.
and yeah, there's one thing that I want to bring up too on this Memorial Day is let's remember the 13 soldiers that lost their lives when we were so much rushed out of Iraq, because those families are now having to celebrate Memorial Day a whole different way now, because of their loved one that lost their lives. The Memorial Day for them, those 13 families, is probably meaning more now more than ever to those families. How important Memorial Day is to remember. That's what a memorial is. We remember the lost ones, the ones that sacrificed everything. Some gave all, and all gave some. So, I mean, it's the fact of war, guys, unfortunately. Anyways,
Yeah.
with that being said, I want to thank everybody for being here. Okay, I'm gonna get going, and Eric, I'll see you later. I'll talk to you later today, after
Yeah,
I
buddy.
figure out what I'm doing, and then everybody have a great Memorial Day weekend. Just think about the fallen, okay, and let's remember, you know, what today means, what the weekend actually means. I mean, yeah, it's a big drinking and celebrating the flag type of a thing. And a lot of people will do that. They'll have the cookouts and all that. But let's just, take a moment of silence, you know, before we go today, and let's just, remember the fallen. All right, everybody. Thank you. Thank you all for hanging in there. I hope we helped some people out with some ideas, for survival. And Eric and I will put our heads together and we'll figure out a good show to put on for you guys,
Heck yeah.
later on. Okay. Love you all very much in the chat. You all have been great. Please like, heart, and share this out as much as you can. And we'll see you next time on Friday night, for another episode of Into the Red Rabbit Hole. So we will see you all then. Okay. Everybody, take care. God bless.
Take care, everybody.